Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Wacky Wednesdays!
Wacky Wednesdays!
Welcome to Wacky Wednesdays. I'm Christy Richardson, the Children's Director at Northside Church. Let's have some fun.
It's a noisy girl life.
Okay, it's our last Wacky Wednesday. Noisy Girl wants to say bye, everybody. Say bye.
It's a noisy girl life.
Okay, for our Wacky Story today, I've asked Lisa to join me.
Everyone.
We're going to talk about a beach trip that we took together recently. And when we were at the beach, we had won a snorkeling trip.
Yes.
Which I've snorkeled before. It's okay. It's not something I love. But this one, had you ever done it?
Not like for real snorkeling, just like kind of dorking around, by a little, swimming area. So I was super excited.
Super excited.
Yeah.
And so it was like the very last day before our trip ended. And so we were going to go snorkeling that afternoon. So I'll start. Lisa can fill in. But the day we're supposed to go snorkeling, it's a windy day. It's
super windy.
Yes. And the water's very, very choppy.
Like
and
they weren't letting like people rent boats out that day. It was that choppy.
Again, it was the last day that we could do it, and this one wanted to go so badly, so we're like, okay, fine. So we go and talk to the snorkel people, and they say, it'll be fun, even though the water's choppy. They will take you to a different area where you can snorkel, where they know the water's calm, it'll be okay. So I'm a little reluctant again. I'm going because she wants to go so badly.
Yes.
So we go.
Yeah.
And we're on the dock waiting for the boat to come with the group that's with us.
And first of all, so the boat comes up and it is sketchy boat. It's like, it looks run down. There's smoke coming out of it. You can see like a little thing of like an oil can, I guess, that they had to use.
Oh, we'll tell them about that later.
Yeah, later. So,
not the nicest boat, and I
No.
could be a little spoiled sometimes, and I like a nice boat. If I'm going to get on it and go out in the ocean,
a
it was
little
not a nice
bit of
boat.
a diva, but she was doing it for me. So we go out.
I got on that thing.
It takes like 25 minutes, and we're going through. It was sort of a nice boat ride, except again, it was so
wasn't
choppy.
really at all.
No, the waves were like literally whipping us in the face.
Completely
but I'm
wet.
Like, I'm still okay. I'm like, this is gonna be great. I'm gonna see all kinds of sea things. The water was beautiful. We were in Mexico. It was fantastic. So we get to the spot and we get in. And by the way, getting in just did
That's a whole nother story.
That's all sure. We're not going to tell you that. So I'm just going to tell you this. I plopped in the water. Okay, so I plopped in the water, and I'm like, this is going to be awesome. So I start snorkeling, and I start to feel funny, and all the choppiness of the waves is kind of rolling me around, and all of a sudden I realize, of course I am looking down, I'm seeing like purple urchins and beautiful fish.
It wasn't even that great.
Well, at that
saw.
particular spot, and I'm just like, something terrible is happening. And then I see Christy's legs over here, and I'm like, I'll swim over to her. So I swim over to her, and I like come out of the water, and I'm like, I feel sick. I feel sick. She starts laughing, and so now
first you had to rip the thing out of your mouth.
I feel sick. And so water's everywhere, my hair's everywhere. I literally was seasick in the water. Not even on the boat, in the water. She's like, I am too. So then
I was a lot quieter about it. I had just come up already, because when you're laying horizontal and the waves, you're just constantly doing that, and you're trying to look for a fish.
So sick.
I had started feeling nauseous, so I just came up and was vertical in the water and trying to focus on the horizon, so I didn't feel sick, and I didn't want to be obnoxious because
I
people.
felt sick. People need to know I felt sick.
So I stayed quiet about it, but I felt a lot better when she came up. But you're with a group of people, and it's obvious because the head diver guy, whatever we called him, the diver guide or something, he had said, don't go back to the boat by yourself. I'll take you. And I didn't want to be the person.
I didn't care. I felt sick. I felt sick. So we get back onto the boat. I'm like devastated because we've got 2 more areas we're going to be going to on this boat to go see things. And I'm like, I'm 47 years old, and I'm like, I feel sick. Okay, so Christy decides
I'm done.
Because then as soon as we get on the boat is crazy. So I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm going to be sick on the boat
The
too.
little boat that's
little
like
boat.
this size, a boat.
So Christy decides she's just cashing it in. She's like, if I'm going to feel sick, I'm going to be in control of where I feel sick. So she's going to be on the boat. And I'm like, I'm going to press on. So we get to the next part. I'm literally just like gripping the rail. We get to the next spot. I get up to plop in the water because I'm not very graceful.
Very funny with those flippers.
Christy, it says, "Are you gonna be okay, Lise?" And I turn back and I'm like, "I still miss it." And as I'm crying, plop into the water. Now, I will say that at that particular dive, I got to swim like within 6 feet of an enormous sea turtle, and it was good, but yeah. So
I missed that because again, I'm staring at the horizon, trying not to feel sick.
No, and every time I tilted my head up to find the legs of the people in our group, so I wouldn't get separated. I'd be like, "I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine." I feel sick, and then I'd be fine. Look down, look down. Terrible.
That was our funniest story.
Yeah.
It was definitely not the best snorkeling experience.
No.
I bet if the water had been... So that's what we took away from the snorkeling together on the beach trip.
Yeah.
That's our wacky story.
See you.
1, 2, 3, 4. Wacky Staffy, taking us back, making us laugh. Wacky Staffy, making us laugh. It's a wacky staff. It's a wacky staff. Woo!
Hey kids, it's Wacky Wednesday and it's my turn to have a funny story. So, I'm Jim Stillwell. I do publications and communications at the church. And my funny story was 10 or 15 years ago. Me and my friends were down in Bay Springs, Mississippi. That's over close to Boonville. You can get your mom and daddy to show you where it is on the maps. But anyway, we went down and spent the night, got up the next morning, and it was cold. It was in the low 40s at least. We got in our boats, and we took off fishing. Me and my partner went and fished 2 or 3 places, and we weren't catching much fish. So I went up to a place I wanted to fish, so we went up there. We were in about 4 feet of water, and something happened. I was in the front, and my partner was in the back, and I turned around, and when I did, I lost my balance and fell in. And you know what happened? My life jacket inflated. It was automatic, and as soon as I got wet, it inflated. I got back to the boat and crawled up on the back of the boat, and it was cold. Like I said, a man over a little bit away said, "I've got some clothes if you want to put them on." And well, he was smaller than I was. I said, "Never mind." So we got the boat started. We went back to the ramp, and I got up, went up to the truck, started the truck, got it warm, took off my clothes, put on new clothes. It got warmed up, went back to the boat, and finished our tournament. So I don't remember what place we came in, but I'm known for falling in at least once a year, whether it's on my own or somebody kind of teeters the boat a little bit, and I fall in. But I always got my life jacket on, and it's automatic, and as soon as it gets wet, it explodes just like this, and I pop to the top of the water. So always remember, if you're in a boat, always wear your life jacket. Whether it's a regular one or one that inflates, make sure you wear your life jacket. All right? Y'all have a good Wednesday, and we'll see you when we open the church back up. Bye-bye.
Bible story. Yeah.
Well, this is our last Wacky Wednesday.
It is.
So we thought we would end the series with one of I think even our favorite stories in the Bible.
It's one of my favorite too.
But it's the story about Jesus calming the storm. So, Lisa, tell us the story.
Let's do it. It ties all these stories involving water together, and you can find this story in 3 different books of the Bible. They are in the first 3 New Testament books, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and Matthew 8, Mark 4, and Luke 8. You can read this story. So sometimes when you know that something's told more than once, it must be really important. So this story is really important. So it happens at the end of probably a normal day for Jesus. He's been talking to thousands of people and doing all kinds of miracles and healing the lame and giving the blind their sight and who knows what else, and preaching them to them with wonderful stories and all kinds of things. And he was tired, and he tells the disciples, "Let's get in the boat and sail to the other side of the Sea of Galilee."
Okay.
They were professional fishermen. They're used to dealing with a boat. There probably was no, You know, I feel sick.
Or they weren't scared to get on the boat.
They weren't scared to get
What
on the
is this?
boat. They weren't worried. So they go ahead and they get on, and Jesus promptly takes a nap. He deserved it.
Yeah.
Hard day's work. Well, something that was common on the Sea of Galilee were sudden storms, and they called them squalls. So a squall comes up, and one of the, I think I want to say in the Luke version of it, it talks about a furious squall. I mean, it was intense.
So this was quite a storm.
Yes, and the professional fishermen who are used to this kind of thing were freaking out. So it was huge. Water was coming in the boat, and they were super, super frightened. And they went to Jesus, who, by the way, was still asleep.
Still sleeping.
On a cushion. It even says in wonderful, on a cushion. He was asleep, and they went to Jesus, and they woke him up, and they were upset, and they were like, don't you even care about us? Don't you even care that we might drown? And then Jesus gets up, and he says, ye of little faith. And he turns to the storm and says, peace be still. And the squall disappears, and the waves are calm. And the disciples were once again amazed and speechless. And they just, all they could whisper to each other was, who is this man that can calm the wind and the waves? And so we want you to remember a few things. Number one, behind us, do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. That's one thing. But also, let's learn from this and not let our fear be bigger than our faith. Remember that just like the disciples, Jesus is in the boat with us. He is in the storm with us. They forgot that the same person who was doing wonderful miracles that no one had ever seen, they forgot that he was in the boat. And he clearly was not afraid. He was sleeping well. There are verses in Proverbs that talk about that when you have faith, you sleep and you have good rest in the spirit. And this was one of those things. Don't forget, you guys, Jesus is in the boat with you. God is in that storm with you. And remember to let your faith be bigger than your fear. It is a wonderful, wacky water story, and we've loved this time with you.
Thanks, Lisa. She made me again tear up. So, yeah, we have loved this time, and we'll see you again on Sunday, though. So until
Tune in on
then,
Sunday.
you all have a great week. Bye.